What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. It's finally the day. Wolfenstein Youngbloods is out, ready to play it. I know most people are probably looking forward to Fire Emblem to check that out today. That's probably what I'll be playing. I'm getting Wolfenstein as well on the Xbox One, but to be honest, I'll probably be playing Fire Emblem most of the day today and through the weekend, so make sure you check out the podcast tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, because I'm sure that's like the big game a lot of us are going to be talking about and our thoughts on it. I don't know when I'll have impressions of, because that game is like 80 hours for one playthrough, so might be a little bit of time before I can really talk about my experiences playing through it. But we'll get there. It's just going to be a little bit. Today, though, we have a bunch of stuff to go over, including the Fire Emblem reviews, because it's doing pretty well in the reviews, as you would expect there. And then Google Stadia, they keep talking about it, and it keeps sounding like the more I hear about this thing, the worse. Honestly, it's sounding. So we'll go over some of that today, and it should be fun. As always, guys, enjoy these videos. Make sure to hit the like button. It does help out. And get subscribed if you want to stay up to date on all gaming news. Do this every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And then on the weekends, have some fun with technology stuff and reviews. We're actually going to start today with Katherine Full Body. Now, Katherine Full Body, of course, is essentially the remaster, I guess you would say, of Katherine that came out back in 2011. I played it on the Xbox 360, and I really liked it there. It was fun. Now it's coming out. Obviously, it's out already in Japan, and it's coming out later on in the US, but a demo is now out on the PS4. You can actually download it and play it now if you want. It's actually available now. Have not had a chance to download it yet and check it out. I want to just see how it looks and everything on the PlayStation 4, I guess the PS4 Pro, and I actually like that game a lot. But I don't know how much the demo goes into the game. I have to see. It might just be a level or something, but it is at least available now. So if you never played it, I think it's worth checking out because it was a fun puzzle style game. And then of course it has a full storyline and they have a new character in this one. So definitely worth checking out. Speaking of the PS4, there is the firmware 7.0 that has gone into beta at this time. So some people are able to access the 7.0 firmware, and outside of a few things, really the big thing that I saw Sony hyping up was that it would take the party system and double it, I believe, from 8 to 16. But there was one other feature that people are noticing that has been added, and it might be a big deal for some of you. So one of the things that appears to be added is some fine tuning for HDR on the PlayStation 4 so that you can kind of play around beyond, I guess, what you can with your TV and everything, also with the PS4. So you can do things like the intensity of it, the brightness, the darkness, I believe, all of that. You can play around with the HDR and the effect to try to get a better look to it, which some games come out and it doesn't take advantage of HDR as much. And of course, we've seen some games just be completely broken, like Red Dead Redemption 2. When that came out, the HDR was all over the place for that. But depending on your TV, HDR may behave better or worse. The cheaper TVs, actually, they'll say HDR 10, but because there's no, I guess, real standard right now to have actual HDR, it's kind of a buzzword, it just might not look as good. This might be able to help somewhat, but honestly, if your TV cannot get bright enough to show good HDR, it still might not make the biggest difference in the world. But for those of us with like really nice TVs and you want to fine tune it a bit more, at least it looks like Sony's still playing around with that going into the PS5, because most likely this is something, because we're getting towards the end of the PS4 generation, that will find its way over to the PS5. Also, while we like to make fun of the Epic Game Store as there's not a lot of features to it right now and they're still working on adding them and they keep falling behind schedule for that, the one thing I'll at least give them credit for is they keep working to make the consumer or the people using the store happy with games. They keep giving people free games, and actually the lineup for next week doesn't look bad. They're doing For Honor and Alan Wake. I was actually really surprised. They put this out in a tweet as you're seeing here, and it's going from August 2nd at 11 a.m. Eastern, and it's going to end August 9th, 10:59 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you go on there, I guess, if you already have it, and download Alan Wake at least. I mean, For Honor, okay, you can check that out, but Alan Wake is worth a download and a play, especially if you haven't yet, and I mean, it's free. A lot of people are going to be getting the Epic Game Store because we're seeing more and more games go to it. I guess technically you could just not play the game, but I think at this point it seems pretty obvious that Epic with their game store is really digging their heels in, because there's another game we're going to talk about later on in the show that made the jump. And guys, some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. We're gonna start right away with Fire Emblem Three Houses, out today. A lot of people are probably already picking it up, may have already grabbed it at like a midnight release in your area, or if you're on the West Coast, like a 9 p.m. Pacific time release. I'm picking it up today. I'll just go by and pick it up. But It looks like it scored pretty well. At the current time of recording, it's an 88 on Metacritic. It could continue to go up, actually, as more reviews are coming in. It actually went from an 87 to an 88. It is a longer game, so you might see some reviews kind of come out over the weekend going into the beginning of next week as they kind of shuffle in and people finish it and get their scores out there. But I'm seeing more and more 90s and even hundreds coming in. Yeah, that's right. Perfect scores from some places coming in, which has made it jump a few points. So I could see it, to be honest, and maybe even at a 90 with how these reviews are coming in. But if you check out some of the individual scores, I saw IGN give it a 9.5, so a 9.5 out of 10, which is pretty good. Keep in mind, this is a strategy RPG, and while other Fire Emblems on the 3DS, for example, have actually scored fairly well, some of them actually in the 90s, it's still a strategy JRPG is essentially. That doesn't really review well usually, especially in the West, as opposed to in Japan, for example. It doesn't generally review great. Like, we've seen like Xenoblade not review the best, and that has a lot to do with it being a JRPG for a lot of outlets. But Fire Emblem, I think, has the lineage, and I think, as we're seeing here, has the content. I mean, yeah, people are talking about 80 hours to get through one, and they're getting a lot out of the story. Story apparently is awesome. I'm really looking forward to playing through one of the, I gotta pick a house. So help me out here. Let me know in the comments what house you're picking, because I'm still undecided, right? I've been looking at it. I'm not sure yet. So we'll see. I mean, they're putting people upside down in the box art, so it's all over the place right now. But let me know what house you're going to be joining, because I need to figure that out as well. But other places, if you look down Metacritic, you can see several of them giving big scores. Other ones giving scores and reading through the description as a bit confusing to me, as it seems like it just wasn't a game for them, to be honest, but they still came in with a lower score that knocked down the overall score, and that happens with Metacritic. But like, if you check down the listing, you can see Games Radar with 100, Destructoid with a 95. That one actually caught me off guard with Destructoid, but giving it a 95, Games Machine with a 90, and it kind of goes on and on. Easy Allies with an 85, and they do great work over there. So there's actually, I think their review is the one that I would probably check out if you're going to check one out. Definitely something from Easy Allies, probably Happy Console Gamer, as he has obviously a ton of experience with these type of games. But it looks like if you want a good strategy RPG, this is the game to get. If you're already a Fire Emblem fan, you probably already have it. Like I said, you're playing it right now or something. But exciting stuff. Looking forward to playing through it. Spending a lot of time in this. I mean, hundreds of hours it seems. And for Fire Emblem fans, you've got to be happy. So looking forward to checking it out today. Next up, let's talk about Google Stadia. It's a confusing mess, I would say, right now for a lot of people. A lot of people aren't really sure what's going on with it, or they're really unsure what Google is trying to do here. I feel like it's for a casual audience, but even then, I don't think the casual audience is like jumping up and down for this thing. It's going to be one of those things where it has to be placed in front of you, kind of explained to you, or you accidentally walk into it, whether you're watching YouTube and it pops up and says, hey, you want to play Fortnite, which is a free-to-play game on Stadia Basic, to try it out, and maybe that's how you get people in. But this AMA that they did on Reddit, wasn't great. There are a lot of issues that we're seeing starting to pop up as we get closer to release day. Now, here's the thing. I did put some money in to get the Founders Edition because I feel like I should check it out with how much we've talked about it on the channel, and make a determination for when it's out. Because remember, to get in initially, you need to buy the $130 thing, and we'll check that controller out too. I'm very curious about that controller. You better believe we're gonna open that thing up. The Chromecast, I don't care as much about that, but definitely that controller. We'll be checking that thing out. So make sure you stop by for that and subscribe if you're interested to see how all of that goes. But some of the things that were kind of brought to light, they don't want to necessarily be a Netflix style service, or at least compared to Netflix. They want to be compared to Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation Plus. However, they're more expensive at $10 a month with the 4K package, and they say that they are working to do one game per month, give or take. That is the part that's not sitting well. Give or take means, of course, they might be able to give you 2 games for a month or none. And weird choice there, Google, to charge more, but then I guess give less for it. However, I guess their idea is you don't need a system, but if you take the 4 to 5 years of paying $10 per month, you could have bought a system, even a cheaper one, towards the end of its lifespan, like a PlayStation 4 now, that you can get for anywhere from $200 on Black Friday up to $300, $400 for a Pro. But if you shop around, you can find it fairly cheap and it's local, which means you don't necessarily need your internet connection to play a game that's offline. But the other issue we ran into is that they did talk a bit about what happens if Google Stadia goes away, because yes, that's right, the games are going to be full priced. Another thing not sitting well with people, obviously, because you don't get the game. It's just you have access to that game that's unlocked. And sure, things like Steam, for example, do something similar, but that has at least an offline mode. And if you shop on something like GOG, for example, well, there's no DRM. You just get the game. So when it goes away, they kind of danced around that issue, not really saying much other than, hey, you can back up your save games, but let's say Google Stadia goes away. What happens? Well, we don't really know, but you can get your save games. That's not great, because that means that more than likely any of the money you've invested into that library will go away, and we know that Google does like to move on from projects that don't work out right away. So right now, they at least can't guarantee what would happen. I believe most likely it would just go away, though. And that's why people would rather it be a subscription service, because we are trained to understand right now that if you subscribe to Netflix, you have access to all of these movies and stuff, but as soon as you stop paying that subscription fee, they go away. We understand that. But that's also because we're not buying these movies for $20 a piece every time we want to watch one. That's why Google Stadia is going to struggle against xCloud. xCloud is going to be tied in with Game Pass, so you will probably pay, let's be real, the Xbox Live Ultimate thing for $15 a month, Game Pass, xCloud, large library of games, and probably the option to buy games as well. Right away, xCloud is going to have a massive advantage over Stadia. Also, it just feels more clear-cut. I don't know. Let me know about Stadia, what you guys think, though, guys. I'll leave a link to the AMA if you want to check it out down below, but it wasn't great. Next up, let's talk about something that appears to be great, and that is a redesign of the Xbox One dashboard. Now, every time I sign into my Xbox One, it annoys me. The dashboard is not good. It's slow, it's clunky, it's crowded, it's all over the place, and I don't know how they've come from the Blade system that was lightning fast, pretty easy to find everything. Sure, it wasn't like the best dashboard ever, but it was much faster and easier to navigate, and it just didn't feel as slow as it does now, whereas it's all over the place. It's not great, but it appears that they do have a plan, because there will be a new dashboard seemingly rolling out this fall. Right now, Xbox insiders are actually getting access to test it out, bug check it essentially. Let's be real, it's basically a beta for insiders, and it looks much better. Here's an image, actually, and Windows Central had a full breakdown with a video and everything, kind of showcasing it and talking about it. And what's great here is, instead of signing in and you have those tabs at the top that's like Store and what, Community, Game Pass, all this stuff, it's actually right there at the bottom left, and it looks so much cleaner. At this point, when I sign into a system, I know we make fun of the Switch because it doesn't have a ton of features and it doesn't have a lot of stuff going on the front screen, but at least it's fast, it's concise, it doesn't take up a lot of time to get places. I like that it looks like Microsoft is doing something similar with the Xbox One. Sony's already had that with the PlayStation 4, but I like this update. I'm actually part of the Xbox Insiders program, so over the weekend, I'm gonna see if I can jump onto this dashboard, take a better look at it, maybe tour it a little bit and see what I think. But looking forward to having my dashboard minimalistic, I would say, simplified definitely, and hopefully just a lot faster. Now, our last bit of news, talk about a game that is making the jump to the Epic Game Store. Not new. We just talked about the Shenmue 3. We've talked about other games as well. The Epic Game Store likes to come in and pick up a game, basically, and slap a year or 6 months of exclusivity away from Steam. It's pretty much their entire strategy, and it's actually worked for them so far. We've seen some companies say, oh, Metro Exodus, that actually sold fine on the Epic Game Store. We had no problem, because it's easy to advertise through social media and stuff, right? That's what we're hearing. And it seems that Epic is giving them pretty substantial kickback. Just writing off the Unreal Engine 4 fees is massive. We're talking millions of dollars most times for these bigger games. So it at least makes sense from their standpoint. Why they would do that, it's just more frustrating, I understand, for consumers and PC gamers who like Steam and they don't want to have to open up all these different launchers and all this. I get that, but MechWarrior 5 is going to the Epic Game Store. And not only that, it's actually been delayed again. It was supposed to come out last year, right? 2018. Then it was supposed to come out September 2019. Now it's being pushed to December. So we're going from last year to September to December now. So it is coming out this year still, although it is kind of falling in that gray area of maybe it could end up in 2020. But after they posted this developmental update here, they say it's coming out December 10th as an exclusive to the Epic Game Store for 1 year. And here's the thing. Immediately, they must have known there'd be some issues here, some pushback, because they outline that if you did pre-order it, you can get your money back now. You can go get a refund. In fact, they say you can keep some of the bonus perks and stuff that you got when you did pre-order it, so you can just go get a refund. And that's honestly how these companies should be treating it, not like Shenmue 3, where they were like, maybe we can do a refund, or no, we can't do a refund. Oh wait, yeah, we can. Give them the option to refund. Trust me, the amount of money that Epic probably just gave you or saved you will probably eclipse the people who actually do refund it. But yeah, MechWarrior 5, I'm curious how this is going to go over with the PC community. I think their community is smaller, and look, they're very hardcore fans. They'll follow this game, but I can't imagine that was a great announcement for them. But they say they have more time that they can spend with it, especially if Epic Games probably giving them some money, and of course helping them save money, but we'll see how all this goes down. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here from Hunter, saying, I'd like to see a Xenoblade Chronicles Special Edition Switch. Maybe if they did a port for X, we'd get a Skell themed Switch. That'd be cool. Thinking about it makes me want it so bad. Xenoblade, I think, has earned its spot to get that Special Edition Switch, especially when Monolith comes out with whatever else they're doing. The Xenoblade name will show up again, right? We most of us understand that. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I think, was good. X is good. I would like them to not leave that on the Wii U. I think more people should experience that, and if they bring it to the Switch, I think more people will, right? I think people will just go out and get it, especially like you're saying, if they did a special edition Switch around it, that would be really cool. But I think at this time, yes, there's gonna be another Xenoblade. Bring it out with a special edition Switch, because I think it will happen this generation. There will be another Xenoblade this generation. 2 came out early enough in this current Switch's life for us to have another one. That would be amazing. So yes, Nintendo needs to they need to get crazy with their special edition stuff. Maybe they're waiting for this revision to happen so they could really start planning it out. Or maybe they're waiting for the Lite. The Lite's probably the easiest place, to be honest, to do these special edition systems, because you don't have to worry about the dock or the Joy-Cons or any of that stuff. You just have your shell for the Switch Mini or the Switch Lite, and then you start painting it up and doing all kinds of stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about, whether it's Fire Emblem. Are you picking it up today? Are you waiting? Is it too long for you for now and you gotta hold off? Let me know what you guys think about all of that down below. Maybe you're getting Wolfenstein. Let me know if you're getting Wolfenstein, because I'm gonna get it too, but I don't know when I'm gonna have a chance to play it. Also, what do you think about Stadia and some of their AMA and some of the new information that's come out? Are you concerned that if Google decides to move on and close down Stadia, that your purchases, well, they could just be gone? Thanks guys for watching. Have a great weekend, play some games, and I'll see you guys next time.